Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg defending his company for a second day in the government's antitrust trial against the social media giant. Let's bring in Eamon Javers with the latest. Good morning, Eamon.
It's great.
Hey there, Kelly. We expect to see Mark Zuckerberg back in court today for his third day of testimony on the mammoth FTC antitrust case against Meta. Yesterday, he spent an entire business day on the stand, sparring politely with FTC lead litigator Daniel Matheson over dozens of internal memos documenting his thinking at the time his company acquired Instagram for $1 billion back in 2012 and WhatsApp for $19 billion in 2014. If Meta loses this case, the FTC could seek to force it to spin off those companies into separate entities. Ironically, one of the emails that came to light yesterday was a 2018 memo that Zuckerberg wrote about antitrust pressure on the company, at the time possibly forcing the company to spin off Instagram, which he noted would not necessarily be a bad thing. He wrote, "I'm beginning to wonder whether spinning Instagram out is the only structure that will accomplish a number of important goals." Meanwhile, the Wall Street Journal reported last night that Zuckerberg approached the FTC with a $450 million settlement offer for this case back in March and, quote, sounded confident, unquote, on a call that President Trump would back him up with the FTC. So far, Trump has declined to do that. A Meta spokesperson did not deny the settlement offer, but said, "We are prepared to win at trial." An FTC spokesperson declined to comment. Back over to you guys.
And Eamon, I think there's a lot of people who would say, is it chutzpah on Zuckerberg's part to think that, you throw $1 million at the administration and you kind of, say the right things and you can settle a case for a fraction of what they're going after. Maybe if his offer was higher, it would have worked. I don't know.
Yeah, look, he's done a total MAGA makeover in the past couple of months. It's more than just the donation. He also ended fact-checking on the platform, changed DEI prospects inside the company. He's done a lot of things to sort of get in line ideologically with this administration. He's been on the phone with the president a lot, I'm told. He's been at the White House a lot also. None of that seems to be bearing fruit if his goal was to get the FTC to drop this case. Trump could intervene here and get the FTC to drop it. So far, he has not. And sort of in the power play scheme of things, Zuckerberg is kind of twisting in the wind on the stand here for the past 3 days, while Trump doesn't take any action and his FTC continues to press this case.
Right. Do you think, though, it's because the settlement offer Zuckerberg reportedly made, according to the Journal, was so low? If he had come in with something higher, is that how this might have been handled? Could that have been enough to make it go away?
No, I think it's because of sort of MAGA resentment against Facebook and the role that a lot of conservatives see Facebook having played in the Biden administration. There have been some conservative MAGA activists who've been publicly commenting that, Facebook was supportive of Biden. Whether that's true or not, that is their belief. And therefore, $1 million to the Trump inauguration shouldn't buy Zuckerberg off the hook here. And so I think there's a lot of built-in resentment against the tech giants that is keeping Trump politically from doing anything to help Zuckerberg, even though Zuckerberg has been appealing to him and taking all these steps to reach out politically. And, that's the interesting thing here, is that we're watching this trial play out sort of on the merits inside the courtroom. And then outside the courtroom, there's this very political other process going on about whether Trump will intervene. And there's sort of two separate worlds operating on two separate levels here.
All right, Eamon, thanks. We appreciate it this morning. Eamon Javers.
You bet.
And it's just after 8 a.m. on the East Coast. You're watching Squawk Box on CNBC. I'm Joe Kernan, along with Andrew Ross Sorkin and Kelly Evans. Becky's off today. Among some of the stories that we're following, the top ones, shares of NVIDIA under pressure after the company said it would take a $5.5 billion charge related to export controls on chips to China. Meanwhile, the Commerce Department also naming AMD's advanced AI chips in its new export curbs. In other industry headlines, ASML reporting lower than expected bookings. The White House also ordering an investigation that could lead to new tariffs on U.S. imports of critical minerals. The scope of the order covers not just the raw minerals, but the processed materials and products that use them, including semiconductor components and consumer products such as electric vehicles and smartphones. And President Trump posting on Truth Social this morning, and his order, you can see it there and on Truth Social. Japan is coming in today to negotiate tariffs, the cost of military support, and trade fairness. I will attend the meeting along with Treasury and Commerce secretaries. Hopefully something can be worked out which is good. In fact, it's so good it's even great in capital letters with an exclamation point for Japan and the USA. Here's the futures this morning. Still down, as you can see, the Dow down about 32 points. That's better than it was in the NASDAQ. Check out gold. And I decided to look at a 15-year chart because something is happening with gold. As you can see, after hitting almost $2,000, almost, not quite, just under it, back in 2011, there was a long saucer bottom. And now it is taken off, whether you want to say it's because of a declining dollar or uncertainty, but that's a new high today. And the gains on a daily basis are getting even more significant, up $82 a day. It just, when gold breaks out like this, it looks like it's headed to 4,000.
And it may. I mean, you heard even Goldman is out there saying its best case scenario is 4,500 this year. For what it's worth, Dennis Gartman, who has followed gold for a long time, thinks this looks overextended. So it's starting to almost look a bit meme-ish. Yes, we know there was fundamental demand, but now...
The only reason I mentioned 2011 is there's gold, almost got to 2,000. Now it's at, 33. That's pretty amazing. You do the same for Bitcoin? Any guess on the percentage return?
15,000.
On the percentage return?
Yeah.
20 million %.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Okay.
20 million % from 2000. But we still have people gloating about gold finally. they cracked me up. But gloating about gold finally getting...
But which does better starting now?
Good point.
Now is your start.
Good point. Because in a weakening dollar, you would think Bitcoin should be moving.
And if you had
20 million.
gotten in on gold
20 million.
in the beginning,
In 1,500.
what do you think you'd be at now?
You mean back in
Back in the day.
if you bought it with the
2000
Egyptians?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bought it with the Egyptians. Could you have outpaid?
It would have probably
Maybe.
might be 20 million %. Coming up much more on Bitcoin prices with Galaxy Digital's Mike Novogratz, Squawk Box 28.